Welcome back to the Social Distance Podcast, everybody. George is stuck in, well, he's not stuck, but he's in America, so he couldn't join us today. So we've got a special guest, long time in the making, Rohan Dennis. He joins us today, which is great. We talk about the Vuelta, his experiences there, his attack on the final stage where he thought, let's see if we can change cycling a little bit, until he realised, maybe wasn't the time to do it. We talk about psychologists. What's their place in cycling? Should they be independently sourced or should teams be supplying them? And we talk a whole lot of rubbish. We talk about music.
Yeah.
And
big expose on Sam Bewley, the liar.
Exactly. And no, but it was a great show with Rohan. So I'm sure you guys will all enjoy it. Like, share, subscribe.
Sam has created a whole new word for the English language.
What?
Click.
Oh yeah. Nah, I called Jonesy a prick. Like, share, subscribe.
Let's just run the intro and wing it like we always do and see what comes out of it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Front kick.
Just getting bored and dance move chat.
My radar's going pretty hard at the moment. I think we should.
Will you shut up, man?
That escalated quickly.
We're going to need to get some more qualified guests on the show, eh?
George is a no-show. It's been a while since George has been a no-show, actually, but it's sort of refreshing not to have him here.
It is.
It's like I just feel like I don't have to try to decipher some words that I don't know what they mean, and
I just feel loose in the shoulders. Yeah. He sort of tightens you up a bit.
You don't have a little weight on anymore.
Exactly.
No.
So we got Rohan Dennis with us instead, which is actually like a bit of a coup. We've been trying to get Rohan I've been trying to get Rohan since May. Well, when I say I've been trying to get Rohan, I asked him once and he couldn't do it that day, and then I never asked him again until yesterday. But anyway, we've got him, and he's into the off. He's just stepped off the bike at the Vuelta yesterday or Sunday. He's got a cold beer in hand already. Fucking love it.
Nice.
Lovely. Not sponsored, just got off.
Yeah. Have you pulled up from the Vuelta? It was fucking hot.
It was cooler than normal though.
Yeah?
It was nice for the Vuelta. The roughest part was waking up on Monday morning and having two kids to deal with for 3.5 hours on a train to Madrid, from Madrid to Girona.
With a hangover.
Full hangover.
I remember the last time I did the Vuelta, 2019, had a massive night on the booze, and then I got on the train, and I was sitting next to the Dockers, Mitch, Lydia, and their two kids, and Mitch was just as hungover as me, and we sat down on the train, and he was just like, "Hey, Marlo, go hang out with Sam," and just plonked Marlo next to me, and I just had 3 hours just with Marlo. I was like, Mitch, you fucker. We're just colouring things in, and
did that to Chris actually. The last hour, I was like, "Here you go, Chris. Chris Harper." I'm like, "Jog on, mate. Have some fun." That's a contraception right there. Free.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the best form. How you pulled up? So you're obviously on the offie now. Obviously not going to the Worlds. I saw in an interview with you that you got your brother's wedding or something the day before the Worlds time trial. That's why you're not going, eh?
Yeah, it'd be a short turnaround.
Mate, your brother's stitched you up there. I had a mate who got married on grand final weekend, and I told him 6 months out. I said, "Mate, what the fuck are you doing?" And he goes, "No, it's all right." I said, "No, it's grand final weekend. It's bullshit. You've absolutely rolled me."
I said to him, late September's good. He wanted to do it in June, July. I'm like, yeah, that's probably really bad for me. At that stage, I was doing the tour. So I'm like, really bad timing in Germany. I'm like, I know it's only a 2-hour flight or whatever, but come on. So I was like, okay, cool. I said, late September, at least I should have Worlds out of the way. He said, in the end, the only time I could really get it is the 17th of September. I'm like, that sounds really close. I'm like, fuck.
And then he goes, "Where's the Worlds this year anyways?" Nowhere big. Oh, it's in Australia. Ooh, fuck. Sorry, mate.
It's a long way. It's a long, I don't have what's the bloody, the quick plane that they got rid of? Concorde, that's it. Don't have a Concorde, mate. I don't think that'd even get me there.
No. Wasn't the Concorde, they were out of action? Didn't one crash and burn in France?
Yeah, I think it was the last one that ever flew or some crap like that.
Yeah, it didn't even really fly.
No, if he was driving near the airport when it crashed, he saw the smoke. No shit. Yeah, if he was there.
He was probably supposed to be on it, but he missed it because he had a big knot on the piss or something.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, he owes me a beer, actually. He said he's going to give me one at the end of the Vuelta.
Didn't he give you one? Line. He gave one to about 100 riders.
Yeah, but he missed me. What beer was it, actually?
Alhambras or whatever. And they were chilly, like burning riders' teeth. They were that cold.
Oh, that's perfect, Joe. That's all you want. That's all good. That's all good.
No,
way better than the old drink mix, mate. Drink mix can really stick it.
But it was there was a few stories from the Vuelta. Obviously, it was a real bastard that Primoz crashed out. But I was interested in the hoo-ha afterwards with poor old Fred Wright. You got to feel for that guy, mate.
I don't know him super well, but my own experiences from him is actually he's a real good guy.
Oh, he's a ripper.
So I felt a little bit bad, but at the same time, I can't really comment because it's so hard to see when everyone was spreading out, and then it also almost happened behind them, and there's no overhead. They were just out of the picture, and I'm like, it's a tale of two stories in the end. Who was right, who was wrong? I know Fred isn't malicious. He's a bit of a sprinter. Was it just a locked handlebars? I don't know.
That was the bit of a shame with that situation is that, like typically you'd have an overhead, which they did have, but it didn't catch those guys. It was because Pedersen was about 20 lengths in front of everybody else. But like then that would sort of solve this situation in some ways. You could look at it, dissect it and go, okay, it was quite clear this happened or quite clear that happened. But like there's no evidence really to say anything either way. And you can see obviously Primoz we spoke about it on the show after the first rest day where we said like Primoz is coming, he's coming. He was just getting better and better and better. And like Remco had that little sort of off day that he managed quite well, but he still had a bit of an off day. And it was going to be a hell of a final week. And I think like the spectators, and I'm sure you guys are absolutely gutted that you're like, fuck, now we're not going to have that crack at winning this Vuelta from behind, which would have been unreal. And if anyone could do it, it was going to be Primoz. And then Primoz is obviously the most gutted out of anybody in the whole wide world. He's going, fuck, I think I had a chance to win in this, and now I'm banged up. I'm lying on my couch at home, scratches and bruises. He's obviously frustrated. And then so just like in those moments, sometimes you say things that maybe you wouldn't have said in different situation.
You cue the ball up and get the one wood out. Just crack it straight up the middle. That's the only way to do it. Because you remember, Bills, you wanted to bet a night on the Irish. You said, I'll get a full night on the Irish that Roglic is going to win the Vuelta. So I'm not taking that bet because I reckon he will.
Mate, the Irish, you're old school.
Yeah, old school, mate. We've wind the clock back. Yeah.
I don't think I've been to Irish in about 6 years.
No, I haven't been for a long time.
It's died. Actually,
I reckon one of the last times was when I left the tour in 2016 for the third time.
You talk us through that.
Bar chat now with Rohan Dennis. We're going to wind the clock back to 2016. Take us back there.
That was the second time I left, and I was absolutely munted at the old at the Irish that night. I'm like, I got home I think 3.
The Irish at one point there was like a psychology centre for busted cyclists because there was always someone to have a bucket of gin and tonics with, just talk about your issues, and they'd always give you support going, yeah, mate, yeah, that's fucked. You want another one? Yeah, no worries.
So next time we see you at the Irish, Rowan, we'll just go, oh, what's happened now?
Yeah, what's going on, mate? Come on.
Now what?
Now it's beer and bagels, or bagels and beer, whatever.
Yeah.
Way it is.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't watch the last stage of the Vuelta, but I read on Twitter that you were at one point 1.5 minutes up the road by yourself.
Yeah.
What happened there? Was that before the circuit or on the circuit?
No, before.
You just have a launch?
No, I didn't even really try that hard. I went up to the car and I said, can we speed it up a bit? Come on. To the officials, I'm like, it's a bit slow. Let's speed it up. And they're like, it is a race. You can do what you want. I'm like, sweet. Is that a free pass? They're like, it's a race. I'm like, okay. So I just sort of rode off. I was sitting, honestly, like 160, 200 watts at most, whether it was uphill or flat. And downhills, I didn't pedal. And over the radio, they're like, Rowan, you got 40 seconds. And I'm like, sweet. Then they're like, Rowan, you've got a minute and a half. Maybe slow down. I'm not pedaling. Then I'm like, I think in the radio you can tell the tone. I'm like, they're not really too happy with me at the moment. The director's like, Rohan, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. So I pulled over and I just hid behind a car. I thought, if I can come in behind the peloton, they'll still think I'm off the front, and they'll still be stressing. And this will be funny. And over the phone, over the microphone, they're like, Rohan, stop. And I'm like, I've stopped. I'm hiding. So, so then I rolled in behind, and a lot of people didn't know I'd actually stopped. I just cruised in through the peloton, and people, you're back. Yeah, sure, good. But I considered going full titties, just like, you know what? I'm going to all in for 10 minutes and see what happens. I reckon I would have won.
Yeah, I reckon. You would have had, by the time that was over, you would have been 5 or 6 minutes up the road, and it would have been a real cat amongst the pigeons. It's a real moral dilemma, right? Because like the comment says exactly right. It's a race, you know. This is the final stage 21 of any Grand Tour. It's just like a self-made, self-proclaimed procession that the pelotons decided to do. Like, the race is over, you know. So what we're going to do is we're all going to ride. We're going to let them have photos. They're going to drink champagne. Then we're going to get to the circuit, and you can race, and the sprinters are going to have their last shot at winning a stage. But like, when you think about the Champs-Élysées as an example, that is one of the biggest stages in a Grand Tour you can win. Like, that is huge. That's the holy grail of sprints to win for a sprinter. Yeah. But then everybody else is not allowed to in some ways. Like, it's a really weird procession that happens. And like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I love it. I don't want to fucking race anymore by the time I get to stage 21. But at the same time, you still have the right to do that.
Mate, you're retired. You don't have to do this shit anymore.
No.
Yeah, but you missed a massive opportunity to change cycling, Rohan, because if you had gone off the front and won by 10, 15 minutes, there probably would never be a procession again, because they'll go, hey, remember what Dennis did that fucking Vuelta?
I'm not retired yet. I'm not retired yet.
Yeah. That's too early, eh? If it was your last race, maybe you do it. Like, oh, well. Yeah, I'm going out in flames.
Like, I would have gone, do you know what? Radio out. Let's go.
Do they still do that? The first person to cross the line is from the winning team or whatever? They used to do that.
Valverde. But right. I honestly, there's procession and all that sort of crap, but this was taking the piss.
Mm.
I had nearly 2 minutes I had ahead, and I honestly had 105 watt average.
That's ridiculous.
What is it? At one point I was braking down a hill because we were going slow. That slowed it. Had to brake. I'm like, come on, guys! Like, I was just get it done. I got beer to drink.
Yeah,
I could enjoy my offie. I want to get to dinner before 9:30 p.m. tonight.
Do you reckon that? I reckon it's a real New Zealand and Australian flaw, or maybe not a flaw, but it's certainly something that just is quite we share in common. That like when they change these Grand Tour stages to late races, like Madrid. Madrid was one of the first to do it, where it was like 8:30 p.m. finish. Like, it's actually really, really cool. Like, you know, you finish on dusk, the crowds are huge, but like, I remember just going, really? Like, I want to have a night on the piss. Like, that's all you actually want to do at the end of a Grandie. You know, get to the after party, have a dinner with your teammates, and like that stuff's gone now. So you're like riding along, going like, this is all well and good, but like, I just want to finish this race now.
Well, why not finish on a Saturday? At least it keeps you open.
Yeah,
like you can't do anything on a Sunday anyway.
No, you can have a Sunday session in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the same with the tour this year for even people not connected with the team. Like, you do all your work, and by the time you finish, you can't even get a feed anyway. And you're like, this is shit. I should be 6 or 7 in, ready to go to the duplex.
Well, which one were you, Dan? Shit bloke, good rider, or good bloke, shit rider?
That's a good question. Well, George isn't here because he's a great rider and a shit bloke, and I'm a shit rider and a great bloke. So
yeah, that's arguable.
Never miss a show.
That's arguable.
We'll have to get Rohan some shirts, some merch, Bills.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah,
Feed's own credit, mate.
Well, he's on the offie now, so he gets the. Oh yeah, you've got your own merch, don't you?
I took the piss with some friends after 2019 when I pulled out the feed zone. I got some that said feed zone critic. I thought it's actually not a bad piss take, you know.
Yeah, it's good. I like that because I think, like, obviously, you know, there's been. I mean, you're a guy that obviously we've known each other for a long time and know each other well. But there's always, you know, you've had your moments, you know, or you've been involved in some moments, but like the thing I like about you. I'm trying to do this like kind of like,
just buttering the sandwiches.
You've had your moments. You've been involved with both. Whatever.
Yeah. But the two things I like about you is, one, you've made a real effort over the last couple of years to identify some things that you could improve, and made a lot of efforts with talking with other people, employing your own sort of group of people to help you focus on, you know, preparing for World Championship time trials, Commonwealth Games time trials, Olympic time trials, you know, all those things, blocking out all the other stuff, focusing on what the things you can control. That's one thing that you've done, which is bloody, like, hats off, actually, when people can do that. Like, a lot of fucking people don't, man. And secondly, you can take the piss out of yourself for those things, like you just did right then with, you know, you made these T-shirts, Food Zone Critic. Like, if you can't take the piss out of yourself for things that have happened in the past, what can you do?
It's funny. You see a lot of comedians getting shit. I'm not a comedian. But it's like they say, if you can't laugh at this, you can't laugh at anything. So if you find it offensive, but you find that technically offensive thing not offensive, then you're just a hypocrite, really. So take the piss out of yourself. Also, you take the fuel out of the fire. Oh, yeah. In theory, it would have been a lot smarter if I just finished the stage then went home. But history's history.
Yeah, but exactly. It's all history. Move on from it.
Move on. Have a laugh.
Yeah,
was it that year? And what year was the Worlds in Yorkshire?
That year.
Yeah, so that year you didn't have a team basically after the Tour de France. And
well, I did until September 13. And
right.
Then I woke up, well, not woke up, it was that night. I was having dinner and McQuaid's messaged me. He said, "Oh, come have a chat." Here we go. This will be good. Yeah, so I think it's a good thing, but not great. It frees you up. What do you mean it frees you up? Well, you've been terminated. I'm like, fuck.
Certainly frees me up.
Did he change the subject straight away? Like, what's for dinner, mate?
I'm like, this is 9:30 at night. I'm like, well, that just ruined me night. Jesus Christ. Yeah. 10 days before Worlds. Fuck. What am I going to do?
But do you know what was impressive? So impressive about that was that happened to you, and then, you know, there was two ways that you could have gone at that point. You could have gone like, fuck the sport. This is bullshit. Rah rah rah. Whatever, and thrown the toys out of the cot. Instead, you went and did one of the most dominant displays at a World's Time Trial title in recent years. Like, you were like, fuck it, I'm going to knuckle down. You got, like I say, you got your team around you to help you. You know, your wife, Mel, she's been a bloody massive supporter. And you went there and you absolutely annihilated the field at the World Champs.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. That night I was all right. I'm like, Mel was having a drink. I'm like, fuck it, give me a drink. Like, I got to have a glass of wine. Oh, Jesus Christ, I need to just knock something off the top here. Then the next morning, I've gone out, got into the garage, and I was still kitted up in Bahrain kit. I'm like, the fuck am I doing? And I lost my shit. I haven't been that annoyed. You could put it as annoyed. Probably since maybe I was a child and literally threw my toys out of the cot. But wow, like that was, and that whole day I actually considered, I did finish the ride that day, and I sat down with Mel. I'm like, I'm out. I don't want to do this shit anymore. But in the end, she's like, well, I'm not going to force you to do anything. It's up to you. I'm behind you. Like you said, she's always been my best supporter, but it was that day I was like, I don't know if I can be bothered with this anymore. Before that, it was up and downs and whatnot. And then after that, the next day, it was all in. If I'm going to do it, it's all in. Head down again, pull what's happened behind you, and play it cool as much as possible. And whatever happens, happens. And hopefully, if it does end well, gets your contract. If not, well, you'll be right, I guess. You'll figure it out in life. You'll probably move back to Oz, and things won't be so bad. Life isn't actually that bad up until then, really. It's been pretty good to me to sport in general. Jesus, can't complain, really, if I'm honest with you.
How's the pressure, though? Like, how's the pressure going into that world's going, shit, this is all of it. It's like being at a blackjack table going, right, that's it. We're all chips in.
Yeah, but you're thinking about it. That's also a good thing. It's all or nothing. Like, well, if this doesn't work, fuck it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It is what it is. I'm out. Like, it is what it is. It doesn't matter.
So how was the emotions then afterwards? Like, knowing that you pulled a ripper?
Mate, I knew about 16K in. About 16K in. They had a pre-split with someone sitting on the side of the road, and they're like, yeah, you're about, I think it was honestly about 16 or 17 seconds up, and I was just tapping at that point. And I thought, okay, I'm going to win today. As long as I don't crash or puncture, should be right. And then with 10K to go, I'm like, okay, I just got to ride a constant tempo all the way, as in high, still race hard, but until the finish. And down the front straight, I'm like, okay, I've just got to double check that I am actually still up. I should still be up. And then that was the finish. So, yeah.
Oh, do you reckon what fascinates me with professional sports stars, right? Like there's billions of cyclists across the world. Only a very small percentage get to be pros and make a career of it. But you got to be different, particularly your mindset. And in your field, like with time trials, it's a lot about equipment, a lot about like all these little minute things. So at times when you're surrounding yourself with teams, all this sort of stuff, what pisses you off the most in that process? Is it when people don't buy into exactly what you need to be successful?
Well, actually, what annoys me the most is that if someone says, yeah, let's do everything possible, and then you go, okay, cool, this is what's going to give me a gain, this is what's going to give me a gain. You're like, cool, let's do it. Then when you go, okay, cool, when are we doing it? They're like, oh, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, why'd you lie to me? And that's actually what essentially annoys me the most, and that's what I've said from that day onwards. I said to any team, I said, whatever you do, if there's a 1% chance of it not happening, just say, we will try our best to make this happen. If it's then not possible, or just say no. And if it does happen then it's like, okay, cool, that's a bonus. But if you say yes, make sure it happens.
That's the thing.
Don't lie. That's all.
The thing with
promise. That's it.
The thing with professional sport is like there's a word that's used a lot in professional sport is accountability. And I'm a big fan of that word, but I'm a big fan of that word being used in cycling amongst the whole organization. You know, at the end, often what happens is that professional bike riders are paid well, you know, and there's a certain expectation on you to, okay, Rohan, the world champs time trial is coming up. You've been time trial world champion in the past. You've won X amount of time trials this year. Our expectation of you is to do every single thing possible to win the bike race, to win the world champs. We want you to go to bed early. We want you to eat well. We want you to, you know, spend weeks.
Not go to the Irish.
Not go to the Irish. We want you to spend weeks away from your family at altitude camps. You know, that's the expectation on you, and you do it. But then there needs to be an expectation on the organisation or on the team staff as well, where we go, okay, well, my expectation of you is to provide me with the best equipment you have. If we haven't got the best equipment that we can get on the market, we need to find other ways to make the bike fast. That my expectation of you is to send me to the wind tunnel 3 times, send me to this, and this. These are what I expect of you. And sometimes it doesn't always even out, you know. But and the funny thing in professional cycling, which is really, really different to a lot of other professional sports, let's use football as an example. If a team is underperforming, you look at English Premier League, if a team is underperforming for an extended period of time, who gets fired? The coach, the manager and the coach. And I'm not saying that's how it should be in cycling, But what happens in cycling is if you underperform for an extended period of time, regardless of how much work you've put in, if you've ticked every single box you can tick and things aren't clicking for other reasons, who gets fired? You do. And it's a really funny system. So this accountability is quite mismatched sometimes. It's not an even balance.
Why that is? You know why that is, Bills? Is the sports directors do not have as much control over the race as what they think they do. And there's a few sports directors that go, oh, geez, Jonesy, that's a bit harsh. It's true, because half the time they're bloody 5Ks back in the car. They're watching a TV that's on delay. They can set out a roadmap, but essentially most of the time it's the guys in the peloton or that are racing. They've got the feels of the race that, have got more control. Whereas in a football game, you're on the pitch. You can see it and direct it a lot more closely. Whereas I think in cycling, I don't think they have as much. They can definitely have tactical plans and map it out, but yeah, I think that's why.
And I guess another difference in cycling is that you're actually outside of the control of the team coaches and managements for a lot of the time, because when you're not at a race or a training camp, you're at home and you're there, and in a certain way, the team is trusting you to hit your targets and hit your expectations, but they can't control that like they can in professional football in a sense, I suppose, because those guys wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and they have breakfast at the bloody facility, and then they train and they have lunch at the facility. Everything's really controlled. So it's
the same team, team every week.
I call a bit of bullshit there as well, because there's so much, as you know, we've got training peaks, we've got our power meters, we've got everything GPS, so we can't just make up some bullshit file or get an old file, because then it has a date on the file and it shows, hang on a minute, that was 4 months.
No, you can change the date. You can change the date.
Oh, there you go.
Good thing you're retiring.
So we know what you've done before, but yeah, like they can follow everything anyway. The only thing they can't follow is, okay, what are you eating? Actually, a lot of time with we've got an app with Yumbo that they can give us meal plans, and if we want to, we can follow it when we're not at racing or training camp, which I don't particularly like to do when I'm away from the team environment, because then you're eating a different meal to your kids and your wife. You're like, I'm eating this chicken, this plain chicken with rice and a tiny bit of salad, and you're eating the nice curry.
What's your thoughts on like psychologists within teams? Because a lot of teams don't have them, and like throughout my whole career, I've had maybe 1 or 2 years where in Greenwich we had access to a psychologist. Otherwise, we haven't. And I
was the untrained psychologist.
Yeah, Jones is the untrained one. But like you say, your sessions are always at the pub.
Yeah, always at the Irish.
The Irish.
That's it.
What I found like last year, I guess, talking about my experiences a little bit about, there's an expectation on me to perform in a certain way, and I wasn't. And the reason I wasn't had nothing to do with the fact that I wasn't working hard. I wasn't doing the diet right. All of it came down to my psychological state at the time, and I can.
You don't want to push.
Eh?
It's like you give in easy. You're like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
When you're at a race, that hurts, but I just don't want to hurt more.
But like, and then yeah, exactly, because you're just not there. But I was still training hard. I still wanted to perform. But where my headspace was coming back from the lockdown, coming back from a big injury that I was still having issues with, I couldn't get the best out of myself. And I do really believe a lot of that was the psychological state that I was in. But it sometimes seems like you can't, unless you access that outside of the team independently, which, there's an expectation that you should do that if you're in that position again. But there's no... Like, why can't my expectation be that the team helps me with that? Like, they do in some ways, but like that should be when I go back to expectations on both parties. You know what I mean?
I've got mixed emotions on that, just because you could call it trust issues. Trust issues. I guess that comes down to an emotion.
Rowan, we need you to open up to this guy. You go, who the fuck's that?
Yeah, like
What's his story?
All right, so I'm going to walk into this meeting that you employ him, and you're the guy telling me to come here, and then I go in there and go, that guy's an absolute flog that just told me to come here. I know in theory you're not allowed to say that back to him, but who said you won't? Who said you won't? I'm like, that guy really pisses me off. Like, I can't stand him. He's an absolute piece of work. Like, fuck him, right?
Yeah.
And then, or you don't, not about him, you just go, oh, I'm sick of this person, this person, this person. They really shit me off. And they go, oh, but I quite like him. Or I might have a connection with him where he's a friend. He got me the job. And then one day we're out on the piss and it's like, oh, I wouldn't be so sure about Rohan. He's doesn't really like you, huh? Oh, what? What was that? And then all of a sudden, they just have to drop that little bomb by accident.
Yeah.
And you're like, all of a sudden, you think things are good. And I don't know if that happens. That's calling people out on something that might not have happened, but it's something that I would rather outsource myself. And maybe the team does help with the payment, but it's not an employee of the team. I think that's probably an independent
I think that's
person.
a better way. Yeah, 100%.
Just seek that person out independently that you know, that you trust, you can build, you have time to build a relationship with outside of the influences of the team.
Yep, and not everyone has to use that one person. You can go outsource them and then they go and they pay the bill or they pay part of the bill.
Because it's a great point, because if that psychologist, for example, he's on good scratch and he got the job through a sports director or something, for sure, the sports director's going to go, how'd it go? What did he say? What's going on? Yeah. And he goes, oh, no, sorry, can't tell you, mate. And then at the end of the year, he goes, looking at your contract, next year, you might need to cough up. Yeah, okay, mate.
You just don't know. So I always have a little we've had psychologists in teams over the years, and I hold back a lot. I'm like, I'm just not 100% sure. I'm just going to keep it pretty vague here. Real vague.
We had the same in the New Zealand track cycling team years and years ago, before I was pro on the road. We probably didn't need psychologists as much as we needed just a leash or a shackle. But we often had it. We chewed through about 4 or 5 of them because like we at that time we didn't really need them, you know. And they just came in and just got spat out through the program. And when I look back on it now, I think,
you dumped all your issues on them, and they were like, I can't handle this shit.
Yeah, they were seeing psychologists. Like but when I look back on it, when I reflect on it now as a 35-year-old man, reflect back on a 20-year-old Sam Bewley, I think to myself, what an amazing asset that they were providing us with. But like then, when I was 20 years old, full of confidence, I was like, fuck, I don't need this guy. You know, so like I'd go to the meetings, I'd amuse him, but I was like you, Rohan. I was quite reserved. I wasn't really putting myself in a position where I would ever benefit from their expertise because I was the same. I was like, what do I tell this guy? I don't. And sometimes I even felt like this guy's trying to create issues in my head that I don't even have. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like
you don't need more sessions?
Yeah. Are you sure you're not sad? No, I'm not sad. Are you sure?
Talking about the Vuelta, geez, I felt for bloody Jay Vine. Fuck, that was bad luck.
Mate, I've never seen someone fly until that day.
Yeah.
I thought humans can't fly, but Jesus Christ. I think he grabbed a handful of front brake, and with disc brakes, you cannot do that at all. Wow. And I just saw this polka dot just go straight past me.
Like Superman.
Like, Jesus Christ. And then I'm like, you just heard this crunching. I'm like, wow. One, glad it's not me. 2, don't look back. You'll probably hit a wheel. And then after a while, it settled down a bit, and Froomey came up to me and goes, don't think Jay Vine's coming back. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I reckon he's in an ambulance. I'm like, is that true? He goes, yeah, I heard that he's not getting back up. I'm like, doesn't surprise me. We weren't going slow, and I saw him fly over his handlebars next to me. I know from funny story with you, Sam. I know from experience what that.
I was just about to bring this up. As you were talking, I was like, this seems too familiar.
Tell us. Tell the listeners.
So the 2017 Vuelta, we were flying through this little town, and it was still break hadn't gone. And I'm like, it was just gutter to gutter, but obviously guys at the front a little bit more single file, and some old lady, she must have heard something going on outside, and she thought, I'll open the door and see what's going on. As old ladies do, they have this small dog, don't they? Dog wanted to see what was going on as well and ran into the middle of the road. We hit it. I ate it pretty hard. I'm like, God, my hip is sore. And I stood up. I'm like, I might have broken my hip or something. I'm like, foot's something feels weird. My foot's really odd. And best case scenario was what actually happened. I looked down, I was missing a shoe.
So it was unbelievable. Rowan hit this little dog that's about the size of my laptop, and we had nowhere to go, no option. This dog just ran in the middle of the peloton. We were going like 60 or 70 k an hour, and I was behind Rowan, and he hit this dog so hard that his feet came out of his shoes and landed like 50 meters down the road, and I went over the top of Rowan. We're both lying in a heap, and I just remember looking over, and I was like, "Where's your shoe?" He's like, fuck, no. And stood up with it. It was next to the dog, and the shoe was in better condition than the dog, sadly. But
what happened to the dog?
The dog was a little bit stiff after that. I
don't know what the result
wasn't
of
in a great way. But you nearly got me dropped that day because that was still racing full gas.
Oh, how hard was it to come back?
Mate, we're in the car. I felt like 40 odd minutes on the car, and you said to me, "You're like, you lost your shoe," and I pissed myself. And I was in so much pain. I thought, I cannot stop laughing. But obviously, we're doing 60 plus on the car. I'm like, I'm going to get dropped here. Like, if I can't breathe right now, and you prick, it
was a long chase.
Hard on the car. And I'm like, dropping off. Like, don't just stop laughing. Please stop fucking laughing.
It was the day before the rest day, first rest day, I think.
Yeah, we had a steep finish uphill.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And then it was a pig of a stage, hot. First rest day or something. And I posted a picture actually on my Instagram. You can see my bike in the distance, me standing there with one shoe on and Bewley's on my left. So on the right of the photo, just looking at me, and I'm just like,
I just couldn't believe you came out of your shoe. I was like, how did that happen? The only other time I've seen something similar was when a friend of mine had a pole out. We were out training, and it was really unfortunate piece of luck, and he ended up going off into the footpath and hitting a pole, and the drink bottles came out of his cages, and his sunglasses came off his face. Like, whew, just got stopped.
Fucking hell. Shit that we just bounced up. Yeah, should be right. Smashed my helmet. I put a new helmet on. As in,
I
once I
crashed
got
the next day again, actually.
I'll tell you, random yarns. That video that you posted on the social during the week, Bills, from that cricket game. Have you seen that, Rowan?
No, I haven't seen it.
This is a cricket game in Queensland.
Yep.
Guy hits a massive six. Listen. Hear the smash. And then the reaction. It's a cricket game.
I fucking live here.
I fucking live here.
You don't fucking pay for the damage.
Oh, shit. I love it.
They weren't even. They're just like.
But you could tell from the tone in his voice that it wasn't just hey, who hit me car? It was like he wanted to kill someone.
Yeah. That's not the first time it's happened either. He's like, for fuck's sake.
I live at the cricket ground.
Yeah. But I like the reaction where he goes, mate, it's a cricket game. Steph to go, you'll be right. You just had your back window annihilated. Mate, it's a cricket game.
I live here. It's like,
and then how were they going to get payment sorted in the middle of the match?
Yeah.
And he goes, you got to fucking pay for it? It's like, all right, time out, guys. We need to sort this out. Let's come off the pitch.
But how's the luck? He was obviously walking out his house and he's seen the ball and it's like, It's his car. Wouldn't you try to stop it?
But it was a real bassy smash sound too. So it wasn't just like a chip off a side mirror. This is like full.
It was square. It was square. Straight over.
Yeah, straight at it.
Hey, Rowan, who's your pick? Who's your pick for the world's TT then? Now,
Ghana.
it's only short, isn't it? 34K or something.
Yeah, it's technical-ish, punchy. Well, there's Ghana. I don't know if Wout's doing it.
I don't think so.
If Wout was, I'd pick him. Or there's Pizza Boy.
Who's Pizza Boy?
Vanderpoel.
No, Remco. He's sponsored by Pizza Hut.
Oh,
Is he? Is he really?
Boy.
Pizza Boy.
He's like on the Pizza Hut ads in Belgium and stuff.
We used to have a guy in Australia. He was Dougie. He was the pizza delivery guy for Pizza Hut.
Yeah, Dougie.
Dougie.
No, it's hard because I don't. Obviously, it's like again, you don't know what Ghana's doing. Wow, he said he wants to go for the road race. I think not the TT, but I think even if he did the TT, he's a pretty good chance. And Remco showed his form recently, even on was a stage 10. If I had to put money on anybody, I'd have to go Remco.
How do you reckon?
I've never won a bet really when I put money down, so like probably a bit of a curse. I could be right. I probably wouldn't win much anyway. He's probably won $1.10 or something to win, but I don't know if he's going to bounce out of the Vuelta as well as what he could. It's a long way. I don't know if Ghana's already there early. He could prepare. You don't know, but just on pure form at the moment, you'd have to pick Remco.
Do you think, based on that, like how you said, don't know how he's going to bounce out of the Vuelta, is doing the Vuelta before the time trial World Championships actually quite a bad preparation? Because what about the time off the time trial bike?
Nah, honestly, loved it. First time I did it was 2014. Finished the whole thing, but it was also in Ponferrada. So I went back home and for 2 days or 3 days, and then I was still in Spain. So it was a 1 hour flight. So there was no big deal. I came 5th that year. And the team time, well, we also had the team time trial, which gave a little bit more time between, because it wasn't after the TT now, and it was also a bit of an opener for your body in that position. You got a bit of work on that bike as well. 15, I didn't do it. 16, didn't do it. 17, 18, I did the Vuelta, but I did pull out on both of them planned.
Not the feed zone.
Not the feed zone. Planned stage 15 and 16. So that gave a little bit extra time to get home, recover, and do more specific work for the TT. But it also hasn't harmed anybody doing the tour as well. I think that residual, your body sort of gets that residual just general fitness and strength from, funnily enough, strength, and you get used to hurting yourself. So you can soak up the crap that you're putting yourself through in the TT a little bit better than someone in general. Who just straight up prepares for a TT. I find that's probably the best prep as long as you leave before you dig a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of positives, but there is a fine line between digging a huge hole and just ruining yourself or absolutely nailing it, which when you nail it, it feels pretty good.
And like you say, this year's it's only a 1 week turnaround, isn't it, from the Vuelta to the time trial? Oh no, the time trials.
And you got a time zone of 8 hours
and a 20-hour flight. Yeah.
So it's a huge hit to the body. Also, what I found is that being a shorter one, someone who does the Vuelta, normally a Vuelta would be close to an hour or just over an hour. And someone with that amount of training or race prep and everything through the Vuelta, you've got that added strength so you can keep going for longer. Whereas with a shorter one, you need that zippiness, sort of need that freshness to really punch and whatnot, especially on this course. But you can't, with Remco, you can't really take it away from him. He's impressive with that, even when he is tired, let's be honest. So that's why you'd have to go with him. If you're a betting man, I'm not. I'd rather put my money. That's what you are.
What do you got? What do you got?
What about the road?
Now?
What about the road race?
First of all, you better get in first before anybody hears this, because if it gets out I'm giving all the info on why Remco should be better, then the betting, the odds will be shit. They're probably already shit. What's
Remco paying, Jonesy? Are you on the tab now?
Yeah. Hang on, mate. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'll get it up.
And the road race, we all sort of ruled out Poggy until yesterday. Pog, man. Well, did you say the day before when he absolutely smoked the sprint?
Impressive.
Pog's paying $3.75. Wout van Aert $3.75. This for the road race. Remco $5. They're short. That's not much value. I think the Pog. I reckon he's the bet.
Well, you can't ever rule out bloody Wout. He's an animal. And being obviously Poggy's not bad with the technical stuff, but anything that's a fighting one day, Wout would normally be able to save the energy a little bit better. Alaphilippe screwed. I don't know about the amount.
In Australia, the odds, because they don't know cycling, they've got George Bennett paying 400 to 1. He's not riding it, is he?
Nah. Wait, what about? Is there a trifecta with him or anything?
No.
Mate, can you just do like an easy bet trifecta, just a box trifecta easy bet or something?
Yeah.
You think I'm a betting guy, knowing that I know that word, but I reckon there should be bets on if someone's going to finish or not.
Oh yeah. Well,
you remember back in the days when they used to do the head-to-head betting in Grand Tour? So you could be like, who's going to cross the line first out of Sam and Rowan in stage 18 of the Welter?
You could rinse the system so easy.
Mate,
easy.
Once I left Green Edge, I could then have a bet. When you're in Green Edge, it's not kosher that you're betting on races when you just get out of the team meeting.
Well, kosher or legal? There's a difference.
Legal. But once I left Green Edge, I was like, oh, here we go. And I remember the 2018 Tour de France, I mopped up, I got Trent in when he won his stage at 21. They bar you. Once you start winning too much on cycling, you can't get a bet on.
Really?
Yeah. They go, nah, this guy's making too much money. He's out. And then I had to hop to a few different betting agencies, and the same thing happened. Get Darryl Impey when, before the start, and he's paying 20 to 1. Nah, gone. So, yeah, I've been able to get a bet on the GGs for a while.
Mate, it's going to be I just realised we're actually not going to do an episode until after the World's Road Race, so it's good that we touched on it.
Oh, yeah. We'd be sponsored by Sportsbet pretty soon, Bills, once you retire.
But who's your pick, though, for the road race? I have to go for Wout. I have to.
I reckon Van Aert as well, because I think that he's cursed. He's cursed in the small group sprints. He's lost a couple now.
Yeah.
But that's not going to last forever. And also the sprint in Montreal it's a ridiculously hard race. It's 5,000 meters of climbing. It's the first time I've seen Van Aert really on the limit there in Montreal, because those last 3 climbs in the last lap, Adam Yates was moving. And so Van Aert's gone into the sprint after having made 3 really big efforts that had really pinned him. And then the sprint was also 300 meters at 4 or 5% uphill. It's a kick that suited Pogačar. I think the Worlds is going to be such a climb that suits Van Aert, and then it's a flat sprint. So even if he goes to the line with a small group, I think Van Aert's going to win as well.
Bling's paying $19. That's juicy.
Yeah, Bling's up as well. Bling's going. Bling's moving.
He is going. The only thing, and not going to take anything away from him, if it comes down to him against a pure sprinter or Wout, he's a hard man sprinter.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think, like in Quebec, he was a little bit better. It's slightly uphill for the last K or so. It's quite a tough sprint as well. So the power to weight probably comes into it a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
Sentimental favourites, Biniam Gamay, but he's been a bit crook, wasn't he?
He was crook. Yeah. I think Van Aert's obviously a pretty big favourite. I think Pogacar's also making a run. It'd be interesting to see how the Belgians work the leadership with Remco and Van Aert.
Good luck.
Van der Poel's been quiet. No one's seen him since the Tour de France, really. So who knows what condition he's in?
He cooked it up.
Yeah, he wasn't going that good.
Yeah. Wow. Enough of cycling, mate. Jesus.
That's it.
What the hell is this?
I know. Before we go, Bill,
it's like been on the detour.
I know. There's another thing on social that you posted about the British bands, and I need to clear some air because you've been giving me shit all week.
You deserve it.
No, well, let's get Rowan in on this. Do you want me to grab the graphic, actually?
Well,
mate.
Hang on. The Bewley stirred the pot, and there was where did you pull it from, the picture?
I think Hannah's old man had it or something.
Right. So what it was is you have to pick. There's all the British bands in the history, and you can only save 3. Which of the 3 do you save? So my pick. What were your picks first, Bills?
Well, I picked my 3, but I've sort of had a bit of a reflection on it. I'm not so happy. I picked the Beatles, the Stones, and Dire Straits. And the reason I'll explain to you quickly why I picked those 3. The reason I picked Dire Straits is I don't think they are one of the best 3 bands in British bands. The reason I picked them is because I listen to them a lot. When I'm cooking dinner and stuff, Dire Straits is quite a common playlist. So if I could only keep 3, it would have an effect on my life not to be able to listen to Dire Straits. That's why I picked them. I don't think they're one of the best 3 bands that ever come out of Britain, but that's why I picked them. The Beatles I chose because they were trailblazers. We all know about the Beatles story.
Agree with Beatles, yeah.
What about Ed Sheeran?
Ed Sheeran, I picked.
You can have Ed Sheeran.
And then the Stones, you can't leave
go
the
old
Stones
chutney.
out. Yeah. But I weighed up. I basically had Dire Straits. The Stones was a shoo-in for me, number 1. And then I had Dire Straits, the Beatles. And then I also had Led Zeppelin, which I had in my 3. And I would maybe put them in now, Led Zepp, over. I mean, the Beatles is like a funny one for me because I don't necessarily listen to the Beatles that much. I don't necessarily love the Beatles that much. But I love what they did and respect what they did and who they are. That's why I put them in there. Sorry?
ABBA?
ABBA, that's Swedish, but they can fucking stay up.
Swedish.
Sorry, that's fucking bring ABBA. I hate ABBA.
Mate, Rowan, this is a serious chat. Don't bring that ABBA shit in here.
Oh, I hate ABBA, man.
There you go.
Oh,
there's your pick.
Honestly, wow.
Yeah, it's throwing them under the bus. There's 10,000 bands to look at.
That's like a slap in the face pick now. Jesus.
Well, I'll go through mine. I'll take Beatles, Oasis, and Coldplay.
What a fucking joke. Like,
wait, Coldplay.
Leave the show. Leave the show.
Okay.
Coldplay. Are you kidding me?
Coldplay.
100 million albums sold worldwide. They are arguably the most successful band of the 21st century. This is by Forbes.
A lot of fucking Muppets like you that listen to them.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame included A Rush of Blood to the Head on their 200 definitive albums list, and the single Yellow is part of their songs that shape rock and roll. And they donate 10% of all their profits to charity. It's in a fund held in a bank account with the members can't touch.
Everyone's donating to charity these days.
Mate, are you a fan of R. Kelly as well?
Yeah, fuck off, mate.
Mate, Coldplay did one good album in 2008. They did Viva La Vida. That was the only good album they did.
Are you a big fan of U2? Bono?
U2? No. Not British-ish. Oh, Irish.
Irish.
Already Britain.
But Jesus Christ, mate.
Oasis, I understand the sentiment.
You've seen Coldplay live. You're full of shit.
I haven't.
Didn't you go see him in Barca?
I had tickets.
You did go.
I didn't go.
What about
I had
Elton John?
tickets. I had tickets to Coldplay, in Manchester, and then I got called up to Tour de Suisse late.
But you were going.
Yeah, but I didn't go. Is the point?
No, hang on, mate. Don't make out on this show that you're this hard ass. And you fucking bought tickets to Coldplay. And then when I said Coldplay, you go, oh, what? Hey, you were fucking going to the show, bro. You caught out. You're full of shit, mate.
You're called out, mate.
Got caught out, mate. See? Billy, the fucking liar.
But I wouldn't have gone to Coldplay over the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Dire Straits.
No. That's not the question here. I'll have to replay the tape. When I said Coldplay, you absolutely teed it off the bloody fucking first hole and creamed it, mate.
Has signaled to us the TV umpire.
I'll take Beatles, Oasis, and Coldplay.
What a fucking joke. Like,
wait, Coldplay,
leave the show.
I'm afraid that the TV umpire is going to say thank you very much on your bike, mate.
And now you got you're backpedaling big time, mate.
I'm not.
You know how good Chris Martin is in front of 100,000, mate. You just wanted that wristband on and get the bloody fix you.
Bow stick out. Oh my god. Face paint.
You love it, mate.
Jesus, it's like going to a circus.
You love it. Exposed.
And Oasis, I understand the sentiment of Oasis. But
Oasis, you can't argue that. When they're at the prime, I saw them at the Festival Hall here in Australia in 2005. It was 5,000 people, like tiny venue, and they absolutely annihilated it. And my mate ran into Liam Gallagher. He was going for a piss, and Gallagher was off stage, and he accidentally bumped into him. And this big security guard grabbed him, and Gallagher goes, "Hey, fuck off. He's all right, mate." And I was like, what a fucking legend.
I like Oasis. My old man will hate me for saying that because he hates Oasis, but I like Oasis. Their songs are pretty interchangeable. It's a bit like the Chili Peppers. I like them as well, but their songs all
same.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I understand the sentiment of Oasis.
Nah. So Rohan's
gone Ed Sheeran, U2, and Coldplay.
Elton John.
Good mix.
Good choice,
Mate,
Elton.
I saw Elton live at the winery a couple of years ago. Yellow Brick Road tour.
But it was
bangers.
It was weird when I saw him. It was back in 2015, I think.
I was there. I was with you.
Yep.
At Captain Cruise.
Mate, we didn't do it, but it was a weird night. But like the chair got broken in the stands. Yeah. I'm not going to name names, but they were off guts. I
know exactly who that was. Yeah.
But it
wasn't me.
It was odd. He'd finished his song. He didn't say anything, just stood up and just went back to playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, and everyone's cheering. I'm like, what just happened?
Like, play Wonderwall. Play Wonderwall.
But everyone's cheering. I'm like, it was just odd. It was a little bit odd. I'm like, right.
It was a good concert though. It was intimate. Like an intimate venue, there's only about 500 people there or something. That was pretty cool.
No, I wouldn't put him down anyway.
So Ed Sheeran, U2, and Elton John.
Yeah, what? Nah, I'm not going to say the word. I'd have to go with you, Billy. I'm not a huge music person, but you can't go past the three you picked.
Yeah, good man.
Mine is Led Zeppelin.
I always said you're an intelligent and astute bloke. Thanks, Rohan. Thanks for coming on, mate. Been a bloody good show.
Bit of a
it's pretty cracker. I got an example for you of, you said all Oasis songs sound the same.
How do I pronounce that? Oasis, yes.
This is from Hey Hey at Saturday.
How long is this, James?
It's the kicker here.
And maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me when walking on by. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Sing it close and sing.
not listening to a bunch
I
of
don't know
fucking
why
parrots.
I don't know why Hey got the axe.
I think it was because they were racist.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for coming on, Rowan. Enjoy the offie, mate. We'll have to get a beer.
Yeah.
Enjoy your brother's wedding.
This time I won't spill it. Twice.
Yeah. Just don't do it at the Irish. There's too many lost souls down there, mate.
Mate, you just get the 5 litre. If you spill a bit, it doesn't really matter.
It's a graveyard down there. So
yeah.
That is a great option.
And make sure I don't think you're selling your t-shirts, are you? So buy our t-shirts and our hats. We'll put the description to the shop in the description to this show, the link to the shop.
No, I think this has been a good tryout for a replacement for GB.
Yeah.
If he finally decides to give us the lemon and sauce bills.
Yeah. Good.
We'll have to saddle you up. What would you go for? Off-season shirts, shit right a great bloke. So
Off-season, or is that's
the offie. And then when you're in
season,
season, great rider, shit bloke.
Yeah, it's sort of, you can wear both throughout the whole year, let's be honest.
Yeah. We'll get you one. I got some on the way.
Yeah,
Righto.
sweet.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Have a see you next time.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Well, I won't see you next time, Ryan, but I'll see you next time, Jonesy.
I'll see you around.
Can't wait to hear what George says about your Coldplay pick.
Click. So you rattle because you know you're a hoax.
Clip.
You're a prick.
All right. Jeez, you talk absolute shit.
Why do people listen to this show?
I don't know, but we're cutting the Hey It's Saturday bit out. That went down like a fucking lead sink of that thing.
You're a prick.
A plick. You Coldplay plick. See, you fucking rattle because you're a liar.
You're a prick.
Good hell.